following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, this is Brother Mike, Arizona. Welcome to the radio program, HardcoreChristianity.com. May God bless you today. Thank you for tuning in. Today's Bible study is America's Satanic generation is almost upon us. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program is on? Kind of a sociology type program today for you. I'll make some announcements while you make the call. This is Brother Mike. I am the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center in Central Phoenix. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. HardcoreChristianity.com is the website. We have services on Thursday night. We have a healing room, 7 p.m. Brother Rick teaches the class and then prays for everyone that comes. You will be absolutely amazed at the moving of the Spirit in this service. Thursday night also at 7 o'clock is our mental illness healing room. If you're a born-again Christian and you have a mental illness, please do not stay at home and suffer. The services here are free. Please come get healed. Friday night's my teaching service for my radio listeners, starting at 7 p.m. as well. On the website, you can sign up for our next free seminar. It's on divine healing. You can go to the radio archives. You can hit the PayPal button and send us a donation. By the way, thank you for doing that for the last almost 17 years. Sister Karen's on the front page of the website. Thank you for all your referrals you've sent to her to list your home for sale. It's been great. She loves working with born-again Christians. She is ready to go. America's Satanic generation is almost upon us, folks. Here's a new poll. Check this out. Quote, a new poll shows values considered very important 2 decades ago are now less important. In the Wall Street Journal, they took a survey of 1,000 Americans. 50% cited a commitment to religion as very important. That's down 12 points from 1998. In addition, for example, 61% said patriotism was very important, down 9% from 20 years ago. 43% put a high value on the goal of having children. That's down 16%, 16 points. There's also a generational gap in the survey. Opinions differ dramatically by age. For example, 80% of those 55 and older, that would be my category, said patriotism was very important. Only 42% of those in age group 18 to 38 agreed. That's the millennial generation and older members of Generation Z. Patriotism is down. The survey said 2/3 of the older adults viewed religion as very important, with fewer than 1/3 of the younger adults agreeing. Only 1/3 thought religion was important. Wow. The value of hard work was high in both polls. Quote, there's an emerging America where issues like children, religion, and patriotism are far less important, said Republican pollster Bill McTurniff and Democratic pollster Jeff Horwitz. Quote, in America, it's the emerging generation that calls the shots and determines where the country is headed. Okay? The survey determines that the United States is headed against having children, against religion, and against patriotism. That is the new future of the new United States of America. Quote, the survey did find a few examples of unity, however. Most Americans are very or somewhat satisfied with the economy. However, 2/3 report they don't have confidence the next generation will be better off than the current one. No kidding. America is headed toward fewer children, anti-religion, and anti-patriotism, according to this survey. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a lot worse than that. Monday's show was on the pre-tribulation. We're already in the pre-tribulation. Tribulation's only a few years away, friend. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, Paul talked about the pre-tribulation and the tribulation. He said, "This know, that in the last days," I call it the pre-tribulation, "perilous times shall come." The Greek word for perilous there is kalapos. Kalapos means dangerous. Dangerous. And why is it dangerous? Well, Paul says, number one, the reason it's dangerous is because men shall be lovers of their own selves. Philetos is the Greek word that means selfish or self-centered. Have you ever seen, and I know you haven't, it's a rhetorical question, a more self-absorbed, selfish generation than the one we're living in right now? It is utterly amazing how self-absorbed people are, in particular, children on their social media and iPads and iPhones. They are literally checking out of our society right in front of their parents' eyes. They're leaving us. Then Paul said, dangerous times will come because men will be covetous. Now, that's not the regular Greek word for covet, which is pleonexia. This is the Greek word philogoros. Philogoros means to have an emotional soul tie or an emotional attachment to money or material things. And boy, that's never been seen in greater measure than it is now in our society. Folks, we're living in the last days, the pre-tribulation, and these are dangerous times. And this is only my opinion and I can't prove it, but if Donald Trump wins the election and he wins big, I think major riots are going to break out all over the United States. Just kind of a gut feeling. I think things are going to go really bad. This verse is going to spring to life with people who are upset with a Donald Trump political victory. Paul said the dangerous times were coming because people would be proud, boasters, and blasphemers. The Greek word for proud there is huperaphanos, which means they will see themselves as superior to all others. That's racism, folks, and it's never been more prevalent, except maybe during the pre-Civil War period, than it is now. Racism is horrible now. Everybody talks about it constantly. Paul said dangerous times were coming because children would be disobedient to their parents. Disobedient is the Greek word apithes. It means they refuse to listen. They don't listen. Then Paul said that dangerous times were coming because people would be unthankful and unholy, and they would be without natural affection. Now, that Greek word for without natural affection is astragus. And astragus is someone who doesn't have any real love for family members, and they don't care about their children. They don't care about their spouse. And have you ever seen anything like it now? We are at record levels in the United States of single-family homes and divorces and broken families and people abandoning their children. Record levels. We're at record levels of people using children to earn money for sex. Sex trafficking is growing rapidly. Paul said dangerous times would come in 2 Timothy 3 because people would be truce breakers and false accusers. Have you ever seen anything like our current political environment? Truce breakers is the Greek word aspendos. It means someone who breaks their word. False accuser is someone who is the Greek word diabolos, and I think you know what that word means. It's the word used to describe the devil, the false accuser of the brethren. False accusers, have you ever seen anything like it on our political landscape? It's amazing how these crooked politicians heave insults back and forth. Utterly unbelievable. Paul said dangerous times would come because people would be incontinent and fierce and despisers of those that are good. They would be traitors and heady, he said, and high-minded. They will love pleasure more than lovers of God. Wow. It's like Paul is standing here right now describing our society. The Greek word for incontinent there, akrates, means somebody who's out of control. And normally it's applied to your bladder, but back then, akrates meant someone who can't control their behavior. They have no self-discipline. The Greek word for fierce there, anameros, means people will be savage. Can you imagine it? It's like Paul standing here right now. Have you ever seen the movies that come out now? The horror movies? All these animated movies, all the adventure movies, they're all filled with savage killings and murders and slaughtering of human beings. Paul said they would be despisers of those things that are good. What does that mean? Aphalagatos means to hate truth. They hate truth. Can you imagine that? Paul said they would also be heady. That's a strange word, isn't it? Propates is the Greek word for heady there. It means they will fall for anything quickly and be easily and quickly deceived. Easily and quickly deceived. They will be high-minded, Paul said. Tuphaomai means to be self-inflated. Folks, we're looking at the pre-tribulation right now. The tribulation is only a few years away. It's right here, right now. Paul said they'd have a form of godliness, but they would deny the power thereof. That describes almost every church in Maricopa County and almost every church all over the country. If you're spiritually down, friend, you can be restored. Thursday night at 7 o'clock, Brother Rick's class. If you come Friday night to the altar call, God will heal you. If you're a born-again Christian, you can come in for free counseling services, 602-636-5800. Brother Paul said this, know that in the last days, dangerous times shall come.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.